welcome everyone to this strategy talk, which will cover a lot of topics. So if you need a seat, there's a few more seats down here, 4, for example, in the first row, 1 over there. So if you want to sit, you're invited to come closer. What will we talk about today in this 1-hour packed session? Actually a lot. We talk about machine learning, we talk about blockchain, we talk about conversational AI, and if we have time, we will cover one more surprise topic. Let's see how it goes. Okay, you all saw that we as SAP introduced Leonardo as the digital innovation system with multiple components, from like design thinking services to technologies and the underlying foundations, SAP Cloud Platform, database and data management capabilities that we have, and also the multi-cloud infrastructure. I will not go into any of the other topics except the yellow ones here, which are machine learning, blockchain, conversational, and then our surprise topic if we get to it. So, machine learning topic first. Very briefly, if you didn't hear that, I think I will do that the last time now. So machine learning is a completely new paradigm on how we program computers. In former times, we had to explicitly state and say, advise the machine and tell the machine what to do. Now what we do is we give the machine a lot of data and pass decisions based on this data, and then the machine is training and learning how humans made decisions in the past, and therefore, with some confidence, can make these decisions going forward. And then there's like some additional features like reinforcement learning, such that for every decision, you get feedback as the system, hey, was that a good decision? Was that a bad decision? And over time, you improve. Why is that possible now? Because the research of machine learning is decades old. So like really in the 1950s, 60s, these topics of neural networks already came up. The ideas have been out there. So why now? Actually, there's 3 main reasons. First reason is data. Big data is available, and we are able to handle huge amounts of data. Second reason is massive improvements in hardware, mainly in GPUs. Also today China time, NVIDIA, one of our prime partners when it comes to machine learning hardware, had their flagship conference, and their CEO, Jensen, referred to SAP as one of the companies at the forefront when it comes to machine learning and for the enterprise. And then there's a lot of innovation happening, mostly at universities, in research on machine learning, particularly on deep learning algorithms. So a lot happened there from a research perspective, which is mostly available as open source and can be used by each and every one. Then you might ask yourself, okay, it's a strategy talk. What's the strategy? What's the right to win for SAP? At SAP, we have like 76% of the world's transactions touch an SAP system. That means that a lot of data, we talked of data, is there already. We have that data along 25 industries, along 12 lines of business, and we have the largest business network in the world. Just take Ariba. In Ariba, $1.25 trillion are going through this network every year. 1.25 trillion. Think about Amazon, eBay, and Alibaba. Combine this and double it. Then you are roughly at the size of the volume that flies through the Ariba network. It's like 195 million products in their catalog. Okay, data is there, algorithms are open source. What is our point of view? What do we do? So in SAP Leonardo Machine Learning, what we offer is conversational interfaces, is intelligent applications, and while we are application-led, so we do not build a foundation for the sake of a foundation, but for firing and powering applications. So all these requirements that come from conversation applications, intelligent applications, we bring together in intelligent services, reusable intelligent services, and a strong data science platform. And why do we do that? In the end, you want to drive business outcomes. So you see it's increased revenue, complete business processes can be rethought, we improve quality time at work, increase customer satisfaction, and ultimately enable innovation and productivity. If we double-click on these boxes here in the middle, you see a picture like this. I will not go through that in detail, but you see it here. We also will refer to a deeper dive session. So we released SAP Copilot. When it comes to intelligent applications, of course, we push a lot of intelligence into S/4HANA, but also into Hybris, into Ariba, into Concur, into Fieldglass, SuccessFactors. And what you see there from a pattern behind this is two different things. First thing is we make existing applications intelligent. As I said, we have 12 lines of businesses, we have 25 industries, so there's a huge and rich set of processes that SAP systems run for our customers. So it's easy for us, with the data that is there, with the process know-how that is there, industry know-how that is there, to infuse machine learning capabilities into these processes. And then what you see is that in a few occasions, we will build completely new applications that push the art of the possible, what we can do today. And here, I really not go into those, a lot of intelligent services and very rich data science platform. All of this is based on SAP Cloud Platform and also the SAP HANA platform, including everything we heard about the Big Data Hub yesterday. So, where will we include machine learning? Also for that, we have a detailed session on use cases and so on. But you can imagine, and this is what we do, we bring in machine learning to marketing. We strive for a self-driving finance, lights-out finance. We include it in sales and services, and even in design, in operations, for sure in human resources, and also in inbound, outbound logistics. So basically, take the whole SAP portfolio, and we have a rigid system in place internally, how we come up with machine learning use cases, how we value them and score them, and then in the end, what the sequence is in which we infuse machine learning into these processes. I mentioned the Machine Learning Foundation. So this is a rough overview of the services which are available already for tabular data, for image and video data, for text data, speech and audio data, and also business services. And today we'll talk a bit more in a demo about two of them, which is image feature extraction and similarity scoring. If you want to try those out, you saw it in Björn's keynote already, I hope. You can just go to api.sap.com. And today I'm happy to having Sebastian Wieczorek with me. Sebastian is responsible for the Machine Learning Foundation. So who better could give us an idea what actually you can do with the Machine Learning Foundation? Sebastian, over to you.
Thanks, Juergen. So yeah, welcome everybody also from my side. Yes, so you have seen in the keynote this morning how you can use the services that we're providing as part of the Machine Learning Foundation on the API Business Hub. What I'm going to show you is what our customers can actually do with that. So how does that fit to your business? What can you do to innovate in your own systems? And here I'm going to show you a demo of what we're doing together with Swarovski. And as you can see, it's a very simple thing. I will show you the demo first, and then I will tell you what this is good for and how this is done. So basically, all I have to do is here to take an image and put that into the mask. And what is happening is that basically this image is compared to images in a product catalog, and it's coming up with a choice of products from Swarovski that are looking similar to the broken bear that we have inserted. So basically, it's a case of detecting what's in an image and relating that to an image database in a product catalog. What is it that is interesting about that? So Swarovski is an SAP customer, and they have the problem or the challenge that they're getting about 100 broken items per day in their maintenance and repair center, where they look at this item and try to figure out what's the item, what's the material it is built of, who is the expert in their repair center to take that, and if it cannot be repaired, what would be the right item that can be replaced or it can be sent to the customer instead. So the process right now is manual. They're taking a picture and they're going through about 40,000 items in their product catalog to figure out what image it is. What we, together with Swarovski, did was to use two of the services that you can use from the API Business Hub as is, so they were not tailored for this. You can combine them. It's the image feature extraction. So basically, from the image, you take a digital representation, a feature vector, and you do that for each item in the product catalog of Swarovski and for the image that you're putting in here. And then with the similarity scoring service, you're basically figuring out which are the most similar images. And what you can see here is that this algorithm is having some interesting features that with traditional methods you cannot reproduce that easily. So for example, here in the image you see that there is a background, there are shadows around that. It's really hard for algorithms to detect that. The bear, of course, is broken in two parts, and still the right figurine is coming up. That's one thing. But the other thing that is important and interesting to see is that it's not only about the shape and about the texture of the stuff, it's also about the semantic concept of what is seen in the image. So what you can see is that besides the bear coming up, which is obvious, you also have other figurines coming up here, which resemble animals. And the reason for that is that the machine learning algorithms, they're actually detecting the semantics of the image. So they're looking into what is the nearest concept of that I can find in the other images. And that's why you have a lot of other animals coming up, but not fruits like a pineapple. They have a lot of this in the product catalog. And you can think about that. These, as I said, these are not custom-tailored services for Swarovski. So you can use exactly these services to detect spare parts or to match spare parts to enable things like your customers taking a picture of something when they want to search your product catalog to buy or to go to the right place. You can figure out what's the right tool or what is the tool that I'm seeing on this image. All this is possible with the generic services that we trained, that we're providing here on the Machine Learning Foundation. And now, over to the slides.
Sebastian, so thanks a lot for this already. And then the question is, what do we have already? What comes next? Can you give us a bit of an overview there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks. So what you have heard from Juergen basically is that we're shipping apps that your users can use as is. So they're integrated into the product portfolio. This is what we're shipping already. You have seen the demo. We're providing ready-to-use services that you can integrate into your business applications to build your own intelligent business processes on top. The next thing that we're going to release in the next quarter is two things. One is if you have your own machine learning experts or you have a partner to create machine learning models that are tailored for a specific problem, you can deploy these models on the Machine Learning Foundation and consume them exactly as you would consume the models that we're providing. So that gives you the ability to expand beyond what we're providing here. And the next thing we're doing is that for some services, we will provide the possibility to custom tailor them by providing additional training data to customize them to your need. And that makes a lot of sense, for example, if you're clustering data. So if you want to sort incoming messages, for example, you do text-based clustering. We're providing a generic service for that. But if you want to define what are the classes that you want to cluster against, you provide the data, the training is running automatically, and then we're running a customized instance of that service for you. That's the second thing that we're going to release soon. And then you see we're not stopping there. There's a whole machine learning process that we want to support with our tool set, so there's more to come than in the next year.
Sebastian, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Here, let me highlight two more things. So we, as SAP, offer all of this. At the same time, we do not want to reinvent the wheel. So I said we, for hardware, partner with NVIDIA quite intensively. Here, we partner with Google very intensively and build on Google's TensorFlow as the machine learning and deep learning framework of choice when it comes to these kind of services. So that this also should give you an impression if you want to jump onto the topic. Google TensorFlow is a good area to start, and of course there's a lot of online material as well. And second, what is special here as well is that the Machine Learning Foundation that Sebastian and team are building is based on the SAP Cloud Platform. So you can reuse all the good pieces of that, for example, integration in already existing systems, because very often you want to trigger something, you want to trigger repair order, you want to like replace something, you want to ship something, so you want to do something with that information. And here we leverage the strength of the SAP Cloud Platform. Super. Let's come to conversational AI. So we see that a new user interface is coming, and in our homes we are already like starting to use Alexa and Cortana and other bots that are out there, or on the phone, the Google bot, and so on. So we know that in the moment they have like are very task specific, but this will evolve over time. They will understand context and so on and so on. So what are we as SAP doing in that space? We work on and provide deep natural language understanding capabilities such that you can use voice and chat in order to interact with business software, as you also saw in Björn's keynote already. As SAP, we have SAP Copilot as the one virtual digital assistant that we want to provide to each and every end user of an SAP system. So each and every end user really should have SAP Copilot as the digital assistant, helping the user in all kinds of situations. And then you can imagine skills that Alexa has. So time after time, we are building out more and more skills such that the digital virtual assistant can cover more. Then what does it bring to us? It's a more natural, more fluent user interface. So that's why now we are talking, or I'm talking, and not typing to you. So it is a quite efficient way of communication. What we want to focus on here is that, yes, we integrate this in all of our lines of businesses, in all industries. But what we also see and what we want to announce today is a private beta for the engine under the hood of Copilot. So we call it the Conversational AI Foundation. And what we do here is, if you're interested, invite you into working with us on everything which is in this box. And I will not go through it, but here you see it. So Copilot is connected and integrated to all of our lines of business and industries. Plus, there are already a lot of channels out there. So we connect, for example, to Slack or also into G Suite. And then we have like entity recognition, dialog flow, and so on, and so on, and so on. And this is the Conversational AI Foundation, which we will open up one after the other. And now I would like to ask Piyush Chandra on stage, and especially to giving us an overview of a bot builder and like explaining a bit to us what this box is and what is behind this. Piyush.
Sure. Thank you, Juergen. And good afternoon to everybody. And first of all, my name is Piyush Chandra, and I am a product manager in Juergen's team. And today I'm going to show you how incredibly easy it is for all of us to build a chatbot using SAP's Conversational AI Foundation. But before I do that, I want to make a little clarification. And I think some of you probably already saw as part of Björn's keynote that SAP's digital assistant, Copilot, is already able to handle procurement scenarios. The scenario I'm going to show is also a procurement scenario, but this one is a unique scenario with customers who have special needs. So let me first go to my homepage. Yeah. So what I'm going to do here, using just simple natural language, I'm going to open a chatbot and I'm going to ask it to do something for me. I'm going to ask it to buy some laptops for me. As you can see, I'm just using plain, simple English. And here we go. The bot doesn't understand what I'm trying to do. But fear not. Using our foundation, it is very simple to teach this bot how to do new things. And it is, in fact, so simple that even a non-technical person like me can train this bot to buy laptops in just a matter of a few seconds. And I'm going to show it to you right now how to do that. So to do that, I'm going to go to my foundation, and I'm going to provide the machine learning algorithms in the back with some training data. So I'm going to select a file. Here's my training file. And I'm going to upload it. And I'll also show it to you that these are actually very basic examples. This is the language that you and I use on a daily basis. So this is how we ask about how do we want to buy a laptop or help me purchase a laptop. I want to create an order for a laptop. These are very basic examples, and this is exactly what I'm feeding to the machine learning algorithms. Now once the file is uploaded, I'm going to just train the model, and while it's getting trained, we are teaching the machine learning algorithms how to make sense of what the users are trying to say. And as soon as the training is done, that's it. We can put this model to test and see if the chatbot is now able to understand. And at the bottom, as you can see here, it says that the app is trained. So I'm going to go back to my chatbot, and I'm going to ask the exact same thing again using the same language. And there we go. In what, maybe 5 or 7 seconds, I taught this chatbot to help me buy laptops. And I can interact further with this chatbot. Let's say I want to go ahead and buy the second one. Here we go. Again, simple natural language. And now what it has done, based on my input, it has actually gone to the back-end systems to check if there is any policy exception. And as you can see, my total amount is over $10,000, and my company requires me to get something approved if I plan to spend over $10,000. But it is, again, so simple for me to change my input. All I have to do is, again, using English, I just say, and here we go. Now it has changed my selection from second to the first. And now my amount is less than $10,000. And it's asking me to go and if I would like it to create a purchase order. And I will go say, yes. And there we go. The purchase order number is there. And the PO is created. And now I also want to show you something else. If I go back to the foundation, here, this is the trained model. So I trained it to understand two things. One is the purchasing process and the leave management process. And these are where you can see the accuracy rates with which the model is able to understand what the user is saying. Now, if I go into one of these models, these are the training examples I used. And now you might be wondering, so I just provided some training examples. How is it that the model was still able to understand what is the policy exception and what notebooks are there for me to buy from? Well, that is all magic. And all that magic actually happens in something called a dialog flow builder. This is where you are able to define what backend systems you want to connect to, how do you want to greet your user, and how do you want to connect to call some APIs and branch out and capture user input. And this is all something that you are able to define. So if you want to capture null input from the user, you're able to define it there. And then you can further branch it down, and you can create your whole conversation flow around a business process. Now you might be wondering, so this works for well-defined business processes, but that is not the case. It actually also works to answer questions. So if I want to ask, how do I register my whole team for a training? I don't know the answer. Maybe the bot can help me. Let's try it out. And now the bot is actually going and analyzing long text documents and is coming back with this answer. And now I know. I don't really have to go and analyze a bunch of documents. The chatbot can do it for me. And this is all the magic of conversational AI. Can we move to the slides, please?
Thanks a lot, Piyush, for that one. Same question here. Where are we now? Where are we going to be?
Sure, Juergen. So what I just showed to you is somewhere between a basic chatbot and a digital assistant. Now, basic chatbots are rule-based, and they are very simple with their approach. And because of their simplicity, they can be built in a short amount of time, and they can be implemented in a short amount of time. But simply because of the fact that they are rule-based, they are not scalable for enterprise situations. They are not smart. And hence, we have something called digital assistants. Now, digital assistants are not rule-based. They are powered by machine learning algorithms, and hence are very smart. Not only that, they also provide one consolidation point for all the chatbots in your organization. And this is exactly what SAP Copilot does for SAP. So you can have procurement bot, leave request bot, and everything. And you can have one digital assistant. That's a point of interaction. But these are just steps that we are taking to go to the place where we want to be. We want to be there at enterprise AI. Now, how do we define enterprise AI? Enterprise AI is the state of AI when machines learn how users work and not the other way around. And to be honest, we are not there yet. But at SAP and at ICN, we are ensuring that we will be there soon. Thank you very much, Juergen.
Piyush, thank you so much. As I said, we are open to working with you. Some customers already work with us, building their custom chatbots, digital assistants as well. You find more information at sap.com/conversationalai. Let's come to the next topic, blockchain. So blockchain is this distributed ledger technology, and it brings together, and for SAP, gives the opportunity to not only having excellence in business processes for one company, so that is what we do for more than 40 years, but now the opportunity arises that we can go beyond and help optimizing business processes that go across multiple companies. And here, just to give you like the state of the nation, we at SAP did now something like 20-ish proof of concepts. If you go to our booth, like over there, you see 10 use cases that you can use live there. They are set up, and the team over there can show them to you. And we see that a lot of consortia are emerging. So from a strategy perspective, we joined Hyperledger as one of the main foundations pushing forward blockchain technology. And based on that, but also with other blockchain technologies, we will enable these cross-company business processes as well. We divide that in 3 areas. Again, so optimizing the core. This is where we are today. We can infuse blockchain capabilities into applications and processes. Reimagine how new business processes can work. And then the third area is completely reimagining how certain businesses can work. And here it's mainly about removing friction in business processes where you today have intermediaries, very established companies, but they are now threatened by this distributed ledger technology. A few use cases that we did and where we see applicability of blockchain is in the public sector. It's about secured authorization procedures. In transportation, it's the e-bill of lading. So today you have like a lot of paperwork when, for example, a ship comes to the port, and these papers sometimes even have to be flown around via airplane to be there on time before the actual ship is there. Then it's about digital management, so digital twins. We see it in like certification for 3D printing in the area of distributed manufacturing, but also for trusted digital credentials. We will learn more about that in a second. And secure bidding, so in procurement, we can help driving transparency in order to create a fairer world. So guarantee networks where partners work with each other, real-time payments, then very important to all of us, medical drug supply chain, and also disaster operations, where there's like multiple companies coming together in an ad hoc manner and trying to help, but also in the end, you need to have some kind of ledger where you like register all activities that happened. I mentioned trusted digital credentials, and for this use case, I here on stage have Julia Steyer, and she will give us a bit of an introduction what SAP is doing in this area. Welcome, Julia.
Hello. Yeah, so as Juergen mentioned, TrueRec is a blockchain-based application for trusted digital credentials. I assume you've all gone through a hiring process at least once. Putting together an application, collecting all the documents that you need, for example, your university degree, your employment verification, or any other knowledge that you have gathered. So I did that some time ago actually for SAP. I submitted all those documents, and what SAP did is they hired a background checking company, right? And this background checking company reached out to my university to check if my credential is actually valid. On average, this process takes 3 weeks. With TrueRec now, we can reduce this time, or basically eliminate this time, by offering trusted digital credentials. Credentials that can be verified instantly without going back to the issuing institution, and at the same time enable individuals to be in control of their credentials. So now, so we are live with OpenSAP, and more than 600 students were able to request their first blockchain-based certificates with TrueRec. I just finished this course, Natural Language Processing for Individuals. So OpenSAP is a massive online learning platform where you can learn anything, basically. So I just finished this, and instead of just downloading my record of achievement as a PDF document, I will now send it to TrueRec to get a trusted digital credential. So I will hit this button, and in the background, what is happening is that the fingerprint or the hash of the document will be added to the blockchain, and the document itself will be sent to me. For that, I'm now switching to my mobile phone, and I will open up my email inbox. So as you can see here, I just received a credential from OpenSAP. Here, the credential is attached. It's this little document here, the .true file. And I will now import this into my TrueRec application. The TrueRec application is basically a trusted wallet for all your educational credentials. So you can see my SAP employer verification, my university degree, and the certificate that I just earned. All those documents are only stored on my phone, so there is no place in the cloud where my information is at risk of being misused. And on the blockchain, we only have the hash, so no critical information. So now, I want to share this with a potential employer. I just saw this exciting presentation from Piyush, and yeah, I want to be part of the journey towards enterprise AI. So let me send him my credential. Here we go.
Thank you, Julia. I'm back. TrueRec just sent me credentials from Julia. And Julia and I have been talking about an open position in my team. And using this link from TrueRec, what I'm able to do now is I'm able to validate the authenticity and integrity of the credentials that Julia claims are hers. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on this link to verify the credentials I have received. And as you can see in the background, it's comparing the fingerprint received by me to the fingerprint that was attached to her credential and is stored on the blockchain. And here you go. In a couple of seconds, we know that what she says is actually true. And you know, I like people who use cutting edge technology. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to hire Julia. Welcome to the team, Julia.
Thank you. Looking forward to working with you. But I still need to finish this presentation, so that was very easy. TrueRec is right now based on a public blockchain called Ethereum. And one thing that we couldn't see right now is that credentials now also can expire or can be revoked, so that status over there would actually change. That's not possible today with digital signatures, for example. So it's really changing how processes work today. We've seen a lot of interest, especially in regulated industries, where professionals have to prove that they have certain credentials to perform their jobs, for example, pilots. We've also seen interest from assets, like assets need certifications that need to be trusted, or even all the way to trusted mobile driver's licenses.
Julia, thank you very much. This really shows a new way of how we deal with our credentials. Same question here. Where are we with blockchain today? Where are we going?
So as you could see this morning, blockchain technology is a very important part of SAP's product strategy. With SAP Leonardo Blockchain, on SAP Cloud Platform, we enable everybody, developers, partners, to use blockchain capabilities. As you can see here in this slide, we offer 3 services: foundational services, application integration services, and value-added services. With foundational services, they basically give you APIs on the SAP Cloud Platform, so you can build applications that leverage blockchain technology. Application integration services are our key differentiator. You want to build applications that actually integrate into the digital core or into your existing SAP ecosystem. And value-added services are, well, more high-level services, so basically blueprints for existing scenarios, such as identity management, analytics, or asset transfer. So with this, we enable developers to get started right away to use blockchain technology without a large upfront investment. You can get started by either joining one of our demo sessions here at TechEd. You can sign up for a pilot, and you can also try out TrueRec by going to our website, truerec.io, and just request your first blockchain-based certificate.
Julia, thank you so much. And now
Sure.
you need to choose whether you do blockchain or conversational application.
Yeah, I will think about that part.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, so we learned about machine learning and where SAP is headed there. We learned about blockchain, where SAP is and is headed there. Also about conversational applications. And I just checked my phone, so we have enough time for our surprise topic and probably even for Q&A. So what we recently started to investigate is quantum computing. And quantum computing is a field of ongoing research for like 30-ish years. And in the last 5 years, tremendous progress has been made from a quantum mechanics perspective. And now, in a couple of minutes, I want to show you what we actually did, also to give you an impression and something you can take home, maybe not purely SAP related, but certainly technology related that is probably of high interest to you. So, what is quantum computing in general? It's the next computing paradigm, and it really has the potential to provide more processing power. So Moore's law is still playing out well. So when it didn't work anymore with single-core CPUs, multi-core took over. Now we see an inflection in GPUs, and maybe, let's see, quantum computing will help down the road regarding keeping up with Moore's law. And the trick behind this is really to using quantum mechanics. And that's why you will hear about something called qubits, quantum bits. And the trick is that not like in our traditional bits, you can have a state either 0 or 1. They also can have both states at the same time. There's no free lunch. The disadvantage here is that now it's not completely deterministic in which state it is. So like measuring this also influences the result, so that ends up in a situation where you have to deal with probabilities, and we will see what that means today. Also, technology is still in early stages. So you will not see like a large-scale live quantum computing application in the next 1, 2, 3 years. So I explained to you an experiment. Who of you has a computer science degree or related? Yeah, like half of the room. Who of you still remember the knapsack problem? 3, 4, 5. Hey, remember your computer science days when you had to study theoretical computer science? Okay, knapsack problem is a very simple problem. You have it hopefully in a lot of weekends in your life. You have a backpack and you have certain items. And let's assume you want to go hiking. So you have a capacity constraint regarding weight because you cannot carry so much. And all these items have a certain weight, but also they give you a certain value. So you have water, and you have food, and you have a tent, and so on and so on. So now you need to decide which items do you put in this bag. That is called the knapsack problem. This problem is solved today as well. There is no issue. An issue we have also in enterprise applications is with the multiple knapsack problem. So now you have multiple backpacks and many, many items, and now you need to decide which items you put into which backpacks. In enterprise terms, what you can think of is production planning, so which products are being produced on which line, is supply chain management, which items do I put on which truck or which ship, and so on. And that's a real problem. Today we have heuristics to like getting a close, good enough solution, but we don't know whether we are close to the optimal solution or not. And this experiment we did here, so it's a multiple knapsack problem, and we solved it with a quantum annealing computer. So believe it or not, you can go out and go to onequbit.com, it's a partner company of ours, and you can rent as a service a quantum computer for a 4-digit number per hour. So you can actually have a quantum computer as a service. And we made use of this. I also worked together with the university and did this experiment. So what do we have here? Let's start with the middle one. The blue one is runtime is on this axis, so how long did it take us to do the experiment? And here, this is number of complexity in the problem, number of variables. So we end up with something like 100 variables in our problem. That is a realistic problem. With our like 2.5-year-old MacBook or 2.5, 3-year-old MacBook, we end up here, so around like 1 millisecond to solve the problem. With our quantum computer, unfortunately, if you take here this 50 variables, we end up at 100 milliseconds, which is like 2 orders of magnitude higher. So the quantum computer is like a factor 100 slower. But there is hope, because what the quantum computer does in these 100 milliseconds compared to our deterministic computer is doing one run-through and optimizes the solution. The quantum computer, which is like half, from a size perspective, half of my little fingernail, this has 2048 qubits, and in these 100 milliseconds, it did 50,000 of these experiments. We had to do 50,000, as I said. There's some heuristic in the place and fuzziness in place, such that you need to do a lot of experiments in order to be sure that you find the best solution. And in the yellow one is like the theoretical optimum. And there's a lot of research still going on, and there's other quantum architectures, as we have like very old school computers, x86 computers, power computers. There's different architectures. And the hope for quantum computing is that you end up with something like this, which is like 2 orders of magnitude better than a classical computer that we have today. So this is what we did as an experiment. In quantum computing in general, there's like 4 different large clusters. I start with the least interesting ones for us. This is quantum sensing, quantum simulation, and then it becomes interesting, quantum communication. So quantum communication you already can use today, and that physically secures communication. For example, if you have your backup today of your ERP system, and we assume that in a certain point of time, and it is encrypted, and we assume that in a certain point in time in the future, quantum computing will be there, your encryption will break. it will not work anymore. So what you can do already today is securing these backups and all the communication channels, securing these by quantum communication. And then what is super interesting for us, this is why we did the experiment, is quantum computing. And here the use cases are mainly in simulation and optimization. So we had an optimization problem to solve here. And of course, if you want to manage scarce resources, it's always about optimizing. Optimizing supply chain, optimizing production, optimizing prices, optimizing everything. So here it becomes really, really interesting. And what we will see is that we have normal libraries today, and at a certain point in time in the future, we can switch them out with quantum libraries for these kind of optimizations. I want to leave you with that. I want to activate our mic runners. If I see that correctly, we have like 10-ish minutes for questions and answers, and leave you with these 6 selected sessions where you should be able to learn a lot more about all the topics from the portfolio that we have in SAP Leonardo Machine Learning. I mentioned that to you earlier, that we have a lot of use cases there. Also, technical overview, Sebastian will give that for the Machine Learning Foundation. Then again, more like a roadmap view of the Machine Learning Foundation. And then we have blockchain, how we integrate blockchain into S/4HANA, how we integrate blockchain in the public sector. With that, and also we have demo pods for blockchain, machine learning, conversational AI, if you go out here a bit to the right. With that, I think we have mics already, and there's a question as well. I leave you with this, and happy to receive some questions, feedback.
Oh. So the question is for Piyush. Piyush was showing that to train the machine, you load the file. So my question is that required for each user, or is that one time you just load it and every user can just use that?
I cannot hear the question perfectly. If I understood correctly, it's about, is there like continuous training as well?
Right, so Piyush just showed that he loaded the file. So is that file required to be loaded for every individual user, or is that you just load first time and that is available for the rest of the user?
Can we activate Piyush's mic as well?
Here, please.
Super, you should be on.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so the file needs to be uploaded once by the user who is creating the chatbot, and then it can be used by n number of users.
Oh, okay.
But every time you want to teach the chatbot to do something new, then you have to give it training examples, because it's neural networks at the back end, right? So you need to teach these neural networks to understand what the user is trying to say. So every intent that you want to train the chatbot to understand, you have to provide training examples, but once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Are there further questions? Yes, please.
Hey, this is Naveen. I have a follow-up on the conversational AI. You might already know that Google already does something which is AI, very similar to the intents and everything, and it does a lot of machine learning. And I see you have a roadmap for that, but as an intermediate step, do you envision that you would get to a state which is like an add-on on top of googleai.com or something?
Yes, so there are many frameworks out there that do similar to what we are doing. But if you compare the accuracy of those frameworks, most of these frameworks are general purpose frameworks. So they go wide and they don't really have deep understanding of domains. And in enterprise, we have domains like HR and procurement and logistics. They don't have that information. A lot of information is owned by SAP and our customers. And this is the training data that I was talking about. And this is our proprietary information. And because of that, for this specific use case of enterprise applications, we are able to achieve better accuracy rates.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to take that as an answer, but as a computer scientist, what I would like to see is the correctness of an algorithm, because that's how you actually say that algorithm solves a problem.
Sure, yeah.
So just to be on the critic side of the whole conversational AI, if I pose a question to you and ask like, how could you prove the correctness of your machine learning algorithms, what would be your response for that?
Yes, so I'll give you two answers to that. One is we have a booth in the machine learning campus, so you can stop by and I can show you our benchmarking with other frameworks. The second thing is just like ImageNet benchmarked what is happening in the image with human accuracy, so how accurately humans are able to understand what's happening in a picture, the same way you can do for conversational applications as well. How properly a call center employee needs to or how many times does a human agent need to answer, what do you want me to help you with? And if we can do that better than that, or at least match that, that is our benchmarking in a way. Yeah. But it's I agree, it's a deeper discussion.
And
we can have that, yeah, sure.
In addition, you see like non-computer science related answers to that, just for example, for data privacy reasons. So also our initial thinking, as we with deep learning do not want to reinvent the wheel, here, okay, let's go out, ask and talk to a lot of other partners as well. Our customers very often also told us, for them it is not acceptable that this query data and also the responses go to a public cloud provider, for example. And therefore, it is also core of the strategy to having this kind of information within either SAP parameters or the customer's parameter.
Yeah, this question is probably for Julia. If me or anybody in the room need to get, like to get a blockchain certificate in TrueRec, how do we do it?
Here.
For that, I would need the demo screen again. Oh, there we are. That was quick. So on our website, you just go to our website, truerec.io, and then you can click on Experience TrueRec right here. And then all you need to do is enter your first name, last name, and email address. I could actually do that right now. This is a German keyboard. Found it. And then I'm able to request my certificate. Come on.
Okay, that's the
yeah, so we have
toughest part.
Security measures in place. Come on. I think I look like a robot. Okay.
Okay, we need computer vision for this.
Okay, I mean, we can continue with questions while I'm doing this.
I have my mail. But you got it. You go to truerec.io and there you get it. Okay. I would propose, I do not see any hands anymore, to close the session. I thank you very much. I thank my co-speakers a lot and wish you a good Sapphire. As TechEd.